Hey y'all, welcome to the Drink Tank Podcast. This is your boy DJ. As you can see, I don't have any shots today. This episode is more about self-reflection, the road so far, just me kind of like coming to center about everything I've done so far. Um, and wow, all I have to say is wow. Um, I know this podcast is very much in its early stages, but I've met a lot of amazing people. I've had a lot of amazing conversations. And even in my day to day life, I find myself having conversations that I kind of wish were recorded because, even in those conversations, all we needed was some shots and a camera, and it would have been an episode. Um, Believe it or not, I'm actually a little terrified talking right now because I don't have anyone to kind of like bounce ideas off of or ask questions to. I'm kind of like a mirror at times. I tend to, reflect how people feel so they can see it clearer. Just bouncing off ideas, asking questions, hearing what they're saying, how they respond, and asking further questions to the point where it's just like, hey, this is you, man. Like every response I have is just a reflection of what you're saying. Besides my own statements, and it's scary to make this particular episode because I don't want to come off pompous or arrogant or anything like that, because I'm just kind of talking about me. Um, with all that being said, there's some things I've noticed in my most recent walk of life. Older people giving me advice between, either how to run my podcast or people saying how much they enjoy the fact I'm doing something different and I'm talking about things that aren't political or aren't, what the average person is consuming these days. I've had people come up and tell me like, hey, there's a difference between confidence and confrontation. And, in my mind, I was like, well, duh. But as that person explained themselves, that, most confident people aren't really confrontational, in regular situations, I had to sit back and think that, man, often I'm confrontational when I need clarity, when I'm not that confident and whatever. There are people out there who may come off confident, that are really confrontational people, but deep down they're inside lacking a certain foundation of, personhood or structure or whatever that situation entails. And I've noticed in my most confident moments, just speaking of myself, that I'm not worried about confrontation. If anything, I brush it off, or I'm not affected. My pride's not affected because I'm just vibrating at a higher capacity during those moments. People who need to flaunt or whatever, it's interesting because, I never thought about it like that. And confrontation doesn't always need to be aggressive. Confrontation, confronting, showing up, being in someone's face can even involve showing off, making people look at you, doing enough to where people are paying attention to you. For those people who raise a fuss, are they really mad about the situation or do they just want attention? Stuff like that. I've met a lot of confident people that are well off in this area that I'm in. And I see how they move, and even when they're frustrated, how they act. And I've met some people who are equally well off, and my God, the most minor inconvenience, they're acting as if the world ended. And the only difference I can say between those two people is, how they carry themselves. It's it's interesting, but there's a person that's always in a hurry, and they're always, me, as if they're trying to prove to the world that they're important. And then the people who are just laid back, minor inconvenience. They would rather discuss how to fix the inconvenience with you. So there's a lesson learned for both parties versus just complaining about it. Also, I've noticed that when it comes to not really the business end, because just when it comes to others, and I have to admit, I haven't been the most reliable person in my past, but you'll find people that you're gonna want to work with, and they don't fit your agenda. That doesn't mean that you look down on them. It doesn't mean that they aren't part of the plan. It's just whatever vibration they're at that time just doesn't fit your vibration. Of course, there'll be people that may want to use you. There'll be people who come up to you and discuss in a way their plan or whatever, and as they say, talk all that good talk, but never show anything from it. There will be people who are near and dear to you that will love to have you under their thumb and put you down, and only in front of people that you care about. And the minute you reflect that, because you can say how you feel, but often it's not heard or respected. But the minute you do something about it, they are cold to you because you're outside of their hold. I've come across different types of people, and I dare not say they're good or bad. It's just a certain pattern that you have to pay attention to. And again, I have not been the most reliable person in my past. I kind of had something to fight for and something to want to do something at all, Most people who know me know, I can be very creative. I'm an idea guy. All I need to do is have a conversation. I don't want to preach at people. When it comes to people and their ideas in their lives, I'd rather sit down and have a conversation and enjoy the conversation, which is the reason why the podcast exists, versus being like, you should do this, and that. The idea of a life coach sounds a lot better than being a therapist to me, But the road so far, what I've been told at least, is that I've had different types of people watch it and re-watch certain episodes and be like, wow, this has the potential to be very therapeutic, not just for the people watching, but for the people participating. And I guess I really didn't think about the impact, even though it's small and just beginning. I've been doing this for maybe 2 months. And for the past 2 weeks, I have not been able to find a guest. And I'm not worried because I'm finding more and more people who want to join, but just finding time with my regular day-to-day job and everything else, and me growing, and me, just seeing how the world is. I've noticed that not only quality people, but there's a certain type of person that has been on my podcast. And I do want different people, of course, but I want people who know how to conversate and have a good time. I want people who will truly be genuine and share their experiences. And people who just don't want to use me as not to say a therapeutic session, if you will, but people who will truly enjoy the moment spent together. I've had people, ask for me to do things for them in the past, just to kind of leave it hanging in the air. And it's weird to say, but back in the day, I would have been like a little upset because like I'm down, whatever, whatever. But in a weird way, I knew it wasn't going to come to fruition, and I was okay with that. I gave whatever advice. I downloaded whatever I needed to download, and I would still work with this person, 100%. But you know, I'm not tossing and turning that whatever event that didn't happen. But I would love to have this person next to me and do an episode, but in the proper format, in the proper way. It's weird when, you're used to being the guy who is looked down upon, or, seen as the outlier, or, not that people will think they're above you, but don't really regard you, They appreciate what you can give, they appreciate your nature, but they really don't regard you until something bad happens. It's funny. And then all of a sudden you mean something. And you have to be able to take that on the chin, but also thrive. You have to be able to understand why you may not be at their expectation or the level of expectation, but also be willing to say to yourself, I can improve. I'm not there yet. There's more I can become, to the point where you have the confidence and you're not confronting people as to why you weren't chosen for anything. Confidence is quiet. And it's hard to be quiet. I feel like it's hard to be quiet for a lot of people who aren't there yet on their journey. Because I tend not to be quiet when I feel like I have something to say. But when I go back and think, like, what did I even say at all? Like, did I say my feelings? Or did I say something because I was tired of not getting the attention I felt like I deserved in whatever situation I was referring to? But it didn't fix anything, right? All I did was essentially complain or try to remind the person as to why they should pay attention to me in the first place. But if I was more confident in those situations, I probably wouldn't even say anything. I probably would have let the absence of my presence or the absence of my words make them think. And if they didn't think at all, that tells me about them, obviously. But I would have let the absence of my thoughts or my presence affect them, but also continue to grow and not look down upon them. I feel like confidence, real confidence, you're not looking down upon anybody. You don't have to make yourself feel better by taking someone's level and lowering it. That's what people do on accident quite often. And I realize that I don't want to be a part of it because it happens to me quite often. The unsung hero, if you will. And again, I'm really not trying to come off arrogant or pompous, because people who know me, know I can be confident, but it is in my most indifferent times in my life where people have found me the most confident, where I'm just like, I'm not even trying to be confident, bro. I'm just being me. I'm just like shrug shoulders, like this isn't that, like whatever. And they're like, oh man, you got so much confidence. I'm like, nah, bro. I'm a regular. This is confidence. This is me not giving a f. You know what I'm saying? This is me just not caring. Like I'm indifferent. But now I realize it's because in those moments where people have mentioned it for me, where I wasn't being confrontational. Because again, when I am, it's not to say rare. I have to feel the need to be confrontational, but I also know I can be petty first. I can't be all these things because the confrontational part is coming from a part where I feel like I'm not being regarded in the way I wish to be. But truly, a confident person in those moments would have done something differently, you know. What else? I'm very thankful that, you know, I'm able to grow and I'm able to have influences around me that help me see outside of myself. I'm very thankful for having people who know more than me see me. And it's ironic because I'm around a lot of well off people where I am at, and I'm not well off yet. And they don't look down upon me. If anything, they want to help me. It's very shocking because where I'm from, you don't find too many well off people. And they're not quick to help you if they are. And you have people who are at your level that look either up or down or want to drag you along or whatever and don't really regard you with the same type of love and respect or appreciation of time. I want you to be aware that on your own journey, there were people who will come to you to raise a fuss. Not always in a bad way, but they will be the look at me people. Here's all the things I can do for you people. You know, maybe they can, honor everything they're saying, or maybe they're just in your face just to talk that talk. That can be frustrating. It involves a certain amount of discernment. Who's to know? Who's to say? It's up to you. There would be all types of people, and I've known these things, and just due to the nature of me being focused on this and my other job, keeping myself busy has kept me out of trouble, has kept me from being overly emotional, has kept me from making mistakes that I would make on purpose because, there's nothing else to do or there's this and there's that. And I'm just out here trying to focus, doing my thing. This episode won't be very long, obviously. I just wanted to say the road so far. And obviously I'm not going over like past episodes and stuff like that. I'm just kind of like saying what's on my mind at this point. And my appreciation for everyone who has watched, who has subscribed, who has listened, who's even heard me talk about it. And I'm realizing that it is bigger than the podcast, even though it's small, even though I'm not some 1 million subscriber YouTuber. And, this thing isn't really even about YouTube. This is about what this podcast can be. This is about extending myself. This is I would call it a passion project, but this is turning into something that I've always wanted to do. Yes, I would like to be paid for it, but having a person next to me and not to say giving them therapy because that sounds so, but asking them questions about ideas and how they're seeing the world and seeing the light in their eyes shine and seeing their head think and seeing how they think in a fun way that does involve a bit of inebriation, but it makes me wonder, like, do most people just need a nice conversation over some fire water? And I don't know, man, it just makes me think. So it's about 20 minutes so far in this video, so Most likely it's gonna be one 15-minute video and one like 5-minute video. But I just want to say that I'm very thankful, and the next couple of episodes should be very fun, very different, same format, but just very fun indeed. And I cannot wait for you guys to see it. Man, I'm excited. So thank you. And I love y'all. This is the Drink Tank Podcast. Today, no shots, of course, but this is the Drink Tank Podcast. Y'all be safe, y'all have fun. And I love y'all. Stay up.